All right, guys, we just had dinner. All right, Thursday night, we're at the truck stop. I'm about 120 miles from the house on the other side of the state. I got to deliver the load tomorrow morning, and I got another one to do, and I'll be home tomorrow night, and won't come back until Monday. All right, so let's get right to something. In this industry, there's a lot of drivers that have a bad opinion about lease purchase programs, okay? I'm not on one. I have a full maintenance lease. That's a different animal in itself. But we're going to talk about the misconception of these lease purchase programs, okay? Because the main problem with everybody in the, that talks about it, on these shows and everything, they're against it, okay? And they're probably not telling you the numbers. What they're probably really against is, and the same thing I say, if you're going to do a lease purchase deal, all right, to all the drivers out there, if you do a lease purchase deal, you want to do it with a company that you can pick your own freight. That's the number one important thing. You can control where you go, and you want to get a percentage of the money, not by the mile. Okay, so the number one thing is you want to be able to pick your own freight and get paid by percentage. Okay. Now, see, that's the problem with these lease purchase deals. A lot of the companies won't let you pick your own freight. So if you do a lease purchase deal with a company where you have to have a dispatcher and get paid by the mile or even paid by the percentage, but they're dispatching you, it's a setup for failure. Yeah, there are some people that complete them and everything else, but the reason why they don't work, and there's a lot of people that fail at it, is because you have somebody else controlling your money. Let me say that again so everybody gets it. When you have a dispatcher dispatching you on the loads, they are controlling your money, your livelihood. They have no idea what your cost per mile is. They have no idea how much money you need for your home, your cars, your bills, etc. Okay? So that's the thing. All they worry about is their bosses are telling them to move the freight. Okay? So they don't have time to look at Joe over here, that they give him a 240-mile run for 2 days because they got to move that freight, but yet he has more hours to run. So they're not utilizing him efficiently, right? So they give that 1,000-mile load to Jim over here that can barely make it with his hours, because he's running out of hours. And so there's where the inconsistency comes in. That's where they're not being efficient. That's why a lot of the lease purchase programs fail. That's why a lot of them get the trucks back and everything else. Now, here's another deal. Now we're going to talk about the numbers, because I do all the numbers and I look at them. See, I got it on this paper. You can't really probably see that, but there's numbers there. Okay, and I'm going to tell you what they are. Now we're going to take a truck A. All right, I'm not going to tell you what brand or anything, but this is an example of a lease purchase compared to a buy, and this is what's going to prove a point. The lease purchase deal is not a bad deal. The bad deal is if you do it with a company where you are dispatched. And I'm not talking about you got a choice of loads where they send you 1 or 2 loads to pick from, or 3 loads to pick from, because that's, let's face it, guys, that's forced dispatch, okay? Because if you turn down load 1, you turn down load 2, guess what load 3 is going to be? It's going to be pretty bad, because they're mad because you turned down a load, okay? So, you're going to want to be at a place where you can actually choose your own loads from a vast pool of loads. So if you do a 100-mile radius, you want to have 50, 100, 200 loads to pick from, not 2 or 3, okay? Now, here we go, truck A, $158,000, okay, for this truck. You put $5,000 down in a buy, you put $5,000 down, let's say, on this lease purchase. So your purchase price will be $153,000 at both places, okay? One's going to be Volvo Financing, Credit Union, Bank, whatever you use, okay? The other one's going to be company financed, all right? Now, another misconception about lease purchase deals is you can't take your truck away from that company. Yes, you can. Certain companies let you take the truck to somewhere else as long as you pay your payment, all right? Because they're basically a bank. They're footing you the money. Okay, here we go. So now we got $153,000 to finance. Now, here's where people get in trouble when they buy a truck. You can only depreciate a truck for 3 years, okay? IRS rules, 3 years, we depreciate a truck, okay? So, in that scenario, along with the 3-year lease purchase, both things are going to be at 3-year terms, all right? At 10% interest rate, you might get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, depending on your credit. We're going to go with 10, it's right in the middle. Your payment for the 3 years is going to be $4,936.88 a month. Over the course of that 3 years, you're going to end up paying $177,727.80. Now, pay attention to this number. $177,727.80. Okay, that's if you buy the truck 3 years, you get a 3-year note on it at 10% interest. Now, you're going to do lease purchase program, okay? Same $5,000 down, same $153. Now your payment, $3,200 a month. Okay, that's $115,200 over a 3-year period, and you're gonna have a $62,000 balloon payment at the end of this 3 years. If you add that $115,200 to the $62,000, you come out with $177,200. All right. Now, if you see you had $177,727, $177,200, they're pretty close to the same. All right, you're only talking about a $500 difference. Actually, the lease purchase comes out a little better. All right, by $527.80. Okay, but here's the deal. Now people go, oh, you got a balloon. All right, this is going to cost you the same, because what you do, you pay the company the $3,200. Okay. You take the $1,736.88. That's the difference between the monthly payments of buying and lease purchasing. Okay, you take that money, stick it in the bank. After 3 years, you're going to have $62,524.80. All right. You pay off that $62,000. You got $524.80 back in your pocket. You're free and clear on the truck when you buy it. You're free and clear on the truck when you lease purchase with a balloon. Pretty much the same exact numbers. There's no difference, guys. It's right in the numbers. Okay? It's just a different structure how to do a loan. You know, just like when you do a house, there's 7-year balloons, there's 30-year mortgages. You know, it all comes out, and at the end, you know, you're slicing, you know, hairs here. You know, it's really close. Within $1,000, you know. So either deal is not bad. All right, because you got to do it. You know, if it's 3 year, you do a 3-year deal. That's how you compare it. All right. If you do a 5-year deal, lease purchase is going to win for the fact that you got more write-off. Okay. You got more write-off for that 5 years because you can only write off for 3 years of the IRS on a new truck or even on a used truck. You do get a small portion in the 4th year, very little, all right, because it grows over into the 4th year, small portion. And yes, you do get to take the interest off, you know, the 4th and 5th year, but that's very minimal, okay? If you're, you know, if that payment is at $4,936, and for a 5-year deal on that note, it's probably going to be around $3,100 or $3,200, the same amount as that 3-year lease payment. But you know, that payment would also go down over a 5-year deal, because the residual would go down, because the truck would be worth less, you see. It's all going to come out the same, except for tax purposes, the new truck, when you buy it, you can only depreciate it for 3 years. The 4th year, you get a small portion. And if your payment's like, say, $3,000 to make it easy, you're paying $36,000 the 4th year and $36,000 the 5th year. And your interest on that is going to probably be on that payment in those 4th and 5th years. Let's say if you have $1,000 interest, that's 12. So you got $24,000 each one of those years that you got to pay tax on. You know, you're going to get taxed on it, on your taxes. So you're going to have to pay that more tax, because you're paying the money out, but they're going to tax you as income because you can't write it off. See, you've written it off in years 1, 2, and 3. People say, "Well, you still wrote it off." Yeah, you did it 1, 2, and 3. It benefited you, but a lot of people won't save, and it really hurts them in the 4th and 5th. That's how come they get in trouble. That's how come they owe taxes. They can't pay them. They get in trouble that way. All right. So that's the difference, right? They're basically exactly the same. The only difference of the animal is when you buy it, you owe the bank, you pay them once a month. If you do a lease purchase with a company, they're going to take the payment out weekly. They're going to break it into weekly payments, and they're going to take it out of your check. That's the only difference. And people say, well, if I own my truck through a bank, they give me this, and they're not going to starve me out. And when I lease purchase through them, they starve me out after so many weeks. No, they don't starve you out, drivers. What it is, like I said at the beginning, you're letting them pick your freight. You're letting them tell you where you're going. You're letting them tell you how much money you're going to make. So if you need to make $5,000 gross a week, and the dispatcher has a bad day, doesn't like you, whatever, and he gives you enough loads to make $3,000 a week, and he does it over certain weeks, you're done. The game's over, right? That's why I said if you're going to do a lease purchase deal, and the same thing with if you buy a truck from the bank, he could do the same thing to that guy, and they do it. That's why the guys hop around from company to company, because, oh, we were over there, man, they ran us good for 4 or 5 weeks, and all of a sudden, not making any money. It happens everywhere because they're being dispatched. All right, so that's the key. You want to be somewhere where you're not dispatched, and there's only a few companies you can do that at, and if you've been out here a while, you know who they are. Okay, I'm not gonna say one company over another company or anything. It all depends on your business and how you want to operate it. If you want to operate it efficiently and smart, there's only one place to go. If you want to run it, doesn't matter how you run it, you just want to drive around, but then there's several places you can go. Okay. All right, so enough of that. That's the difference between leasing and buying. Lease purchase and buying, there's really no difference. The only difference is it's got a bad rap. Lease purchase has a bad rap because these companies that dispatch drivers, they don't give them the miles they need if it's paid by the mile, or they don't give them the good loads if it's paid by percentage. The loads come down the board, and that dispatcher has a boss, the load planner, and he's saying, move these loads, so when you call in or you get delivered, guess what? You get the next load in line. And if it's a good one, you make out. If it's not, no good. No good for you, good for them, right? Because their freight's getting moved, they're getting money. They don't have to worry about the payments, right? So that's why you don't want dispatcher, because like I said before, they don't care anything about you or your home life or anything. Right? They don't know how much money you owe, and they're not. And if they're controlling 200 drivers, 100 drivers, they can't keep track of everybody. They don't know what you need, right? So they just look at their board, fill all the loads down, get it all moved. As long as it's all moved, their boss is happy, and that guy's boss is happy, and the owner or CEO of the company and stockholders, if they're on the stock market, all them guys are happy. Okay, so that's all it is. It's all about a money game, shell game. We're at the lowest part of the totem pole, so at least be somewhere where you can pick your own freight. All right. Yeah, enough said about that. Hope everybody has a safe weekend this weekend. I'm gonna have a good time, and like I said, next week I'm already booked up through Tuesday, and then tomorrow, I'm gonna book up the rest of the week probably. If anybody don't know, it's my birthday this weekend. That's why I'm, got to make sure I'm home. And, thanks for, everybody, if you could wish me happy birthday, you ain't got to put in there, but thank you. It'll just mess everything up. Everybody puts that all in there. Because if you got me on Facebook, you're going to know it's my birthday. But anyway, I'm too old for that anyway, so let's not even go there. See, all these gray hairs. That could be from the grandkids and you know, the wife and everything else, but who knows? Or it's probably 24 years in the trucking industry. And there we go. I kind of got some light on there. But you know, that's the deal. And you know, I got a lot of guys calling me up, and you know, it does work. You know, I'll put my email link down in the description again. If you email me and want to talk trucking, or you know, just general knowledge, you know, we ain't got to talk about anything. If you want to know where I'm at, if you ain't figured it out by now with the pictures and the video, you know, I can go over that too. You know, if you want to say, hey, you know, what's the boards look like over there? You know, I can tell you. So, but it is, you know, I met one driver today. You know, he looked at it and he couldn't believe it. You know, because everything I say on here about it and everything, it's all true. All right. In the trucking industry, you know, you got a lot of guys, they think everything's a trucker tale, right? Can't be true, can't be true. All right, the grass isn't greener anywhere else, okay? You're gonna learn that if you've been out here as long as I have, and as long as talked to a nice gentleman there out of Alabama. You know, he's been 30 years plus. Great guy, you know, a lot of knowledge. And he could tell you the same thing. The grass isn't greener anywhere else. It's just how you want to operate your business. Whether you want to have your own authority, whether you want to pay a percentage and use somebody else's authority and do all the paperwork and keep you legal. You know, it's a lot of work, you know. I thought about my own authority at a point. Want to know if I want to go down that road, talking to shippers, talking, you know, and the other end, try to find shippers for backhauls instead of using broker boards. Then I just decided I didn't want to put that much time into it. And after talking to Brian, I'm kind of glad I didn't go that way. My hat's off to him, you know. He put a lot of work into that. It's a successful business, but man, it's a lot of work. So I commend them guys that do that. But you know, in my life and my situation all these years, you know, me leasing my truck on contract onto a company has been the best for me in those times. So, but I'm at a great place now. You know, when this company opened this program up, there's nothing like it in the industry. I don't care. You can ask you can ask Brian. He's been around a long time. He can tell you the same thing. There's nothing like this program in the industry. No one else has got something like this. I mean, yeah, there's other ones that can do it, but why they don't do it, I don't know. Everybody that's on it loves it. Production's way up. You know, they have very little service failures. You know, and so it works, and that's why it's been around for 8 years now. It's a proven working model, and that's why it's growing. Because a lot of people in the industry, you know, they think it's a fairy tale. They think, hey, you know, there's no way you can just click a button on all these loads and just go about your business without calling anybody. Well, it's true. You don't call no receivers, you don't call no shippers, and I don't call the company unless I have a problem, you know, with with the loads that I want to switch them around. You know, I want to put something in between because I got more time. I want to utilize all my time I have, and they post something and it's really good that I can stick in there and be more productive. It helps the company out. It gets their freight moved. It helps me out because I'm utilizing all my time that I have available, because that's a good business decision for me, and it's good for them because, hey, you know, it only takes a few seconds for them to take the stuff off you, so you can put something in between and put and then you click and put the stuff back on you. It's a win-win for everybody, and that's why it's probably going to be around for a long time. So enough of that. Hey everybody, like I said, have a good weekend. I'm gonna enjoy myself this weekend. Probably do some motorcycle riding and stuff, and enjoy my day on Sunday. So everybody have a good one. I know it's a long video. Dump Truck Bob, this is over 17 minutes, buddy. It's 20 minutes. I know it's like a sitcom, I'm sorry, but you know, I just had to do this for these numbers because I'm tired of hearing people badmouth certain ways to do business when, you know, every way is a good way as long as it is good for your business, okay? Because not everybody has the same, you know, concept of how to do a business or how to do their business, and not everybody wants to do it the same way. You know, they want things different. Maybe they need that lease purchase with that doesn't get reported on your credit. That's another thing, real quick. You know, you get these lease purchases, if they don't report on your credit, compared if you buy a truck, if you pay cash for a truck, you know, you buy a truck through a bank, they put the $153,000 on your credit, and if it was, let's say, the $5,000 a month, you're not going to be able to get a home mortgage. You're not going to be able to get a lot of stuff when you go to apply for it, because you're going to have too large of a debt ratio. Okay, because you're going to see that big payment, you're going to see that big money you owe, your debt ratio is going to be too high. Now, if you do a lease purchase and that place does not report to the credit bureau, guess what? That doesn't show up, so your debt ratio is like it should be, and you're good to go. So anyway, enough of that. Everybody have a good one, and we'll talk to you later.